I fell into the world of highly productive pepper plants several years ago, probably around COVID times. And one thing I will tell you is that expert pepper growers, the hot sauce people, the people who breed specific varieties, all have one thing in common. And that is identifying the bottleneck for their pepper and then being able to adjust and plow through that so they end up with some of the highest pepper yields you could ever find. So today's video, we're going to look at exactly that. What possible bottlenecks you could be running into, along with very specifically, if you are in a cold climate, what bottlenecks you are going to run into and how you can pivot and change those. Because I've gotten some pretty heavy duty harvests off of my peppers over the years. And I think I've mastered exactly what needs to be done for these guys to make them happy and healthy. So bottleneck one is actually temperature. Now, it's not what you think when it comes to temperature. We're going to talk about above ground biomass temperatures first. And that is during the flowering stage. So you can see this bad boy has a lot of flowers going on it. And if the daytime temps get too warm, it will drop flowers, it will drop pollen. If the nighttime temps get too cold, it will also drop flowers and drop pollen. So there is a little bit of a balance between nighttime and daytime temps. Now, typically speaking, if you have high daytime temps, that means that your nighttime temps are probably okay. But if you have really low nighttime temps, it probably means your daytime temps are okay. So you'd only be adjusting for one of the two. Now, I highly encourage you to just simply Google the variety that you're growing, jalapeno, these guys are chili, whatever the case is, habanero, and ask ChatGPT or Google, what is the temperature range this plant needs to fruit and flower properly? And it will give that to you. And if you can lock it into that, then that is definitely a bottleneck you've gotten rid of. Next bottleneck is hands down sunlight. These guys like so much sunlight, it is crazy. And that, yes, does interfere with the whole not too much heat during the daytime thing. Unfortunately, it is a little bit of a balance, but these need direct full sun all day as much as possible. They do not do well in partial shade. They do not do well in shade. And you will see a dramatic decrease in performance if you do that. So sunlight is key. Now, if you live in an area with lots of trees, lots of buildings, and the sun tends to change its position in the sky based on the time of year, then what I would encourage you to do is to plant in containers. Now, there's other reasons I encourage you to plant in containers, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But that mobility side of things actually does help enormously.
Okay, a couple things to note about the lighting, however. So over there, I have a very, very bright sunny bed. This one, not so much. It is a very minute difference in the amount of light and the intensity of light, but it is enough that for the last 2-ish years, I've had sunburn on my tomatoes over there, except for last year, it was too cold for it. And this side I don't. So my pepper containers actually just leave on this side, so they can show some signs of sun stress. What I think is happening is it is heat combined with intense light that's causing the issue over here. It's not so much light that's too intense, it's the combination of the two because it is on cement as well. So just watch for some signs and symptoms because I have seen it lately where we are anyways. And I'm sure places that are much warmer see it all the time. So I do put them here. That means they are getting direct light for a majority of the day, but probably not as much morning light as that bed right there is. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're watching them. If they're showing sun stress, they probably are because it can happen. And my dog put his ball under the fence. What is this? What is this thing I have? Where are you?
The next bottleneck, hands down, is going to be root space. So this one's a little bit controversial in the sense that root space that's too high can cause issues and root space that is too small can also cause issues. A small root space typically means a warmer root space, a more intense root space, that sort of thing, and a smaller root volume. This isn't something we want if we want a big plant. On the other side of the coin is if we plant these directly in our raised beds or if we plant them directly in the garden or wherever that may be, and the plant has now unlimited access to whatever soil it wants to grab onto, we end up with a very similar issue. We end up with a plant that is so hyper-focused on root and not so focused on making fruits and flowers because there's no stress there. So if you're in a warm climate, you have a long growing season, planting them in ground probably does make sense for you. If you are in a cold climate and you do not have a long growing season, then actually planting them in containers is what's going to be most important. For me personally, a 5-gallon pail bucket is exactly how much you need, and that tends to support the plant for its entire life cycle. You could go a little bit bigger if you wanted, but that's my preference. So the next myth is actually watering. It's very common for people to think that peppers don't like water. They actually like heat. And that can't be any further from this truth. If your plant has a lot of water pressure, what will happen is it will drop its flowers, its fruits, its leaves. It'll kind of stunt growth for sure. So constant access to water is very important, but constant access to water in an environment that is nice and airy and lots of microbial activity taking place is also important, which is why I actually put my peppers into self-watering containers first and foremost. That is my most important asset when it comes to growing peppers successfully. Now, the key here in potting up is not to pot them the same as the rumors of how to pot tomatoes. We don't want to sink our pepper deep. We actually just want to keep it flush with that soil surface. Nothing more, nothing less. That's really important. Fertilizer, just any sort of fertilizer is fine. You don't have to get super fancy with this by any stretch of the imagination. Any sort of pepper deformities you may see, for example, blossom end rot, and or that kind of stretch marked look to it, is all related to watering. If you're watering too much, you're watering too little. And that's how those kind of signs and symptoms show up in the plant itself. And the only way to correct that is through your watering style, not via your fertilizer application. And my dog has made a hidey hole. He thinks he's a wild dog, but he'd die in the environment of the wilderness quick. I flipped that log over when I was redoing that area, and now he's convinced that's his doghouse. Which is good because there's nothing planted there, so thank God. It's kind of cute. His ancestors haven't been fending for anything other than puppy kibby in the last 200 years, I'm sure. He's chewing on wood now. Wonderful. And the next thing, probably one of the most important things, is that when your peppers are ready to harvest them. Seriously, the reason for this is if you leave peppers in place, that is a resource sink. The resources that go into foliage and flowering and all that get pulled into specifically ripening those fruits. So it's the same as peas and beans and that sort of thing. If you just keep on top of picking your peppers, you will have a more continual or a larger harvest over time. So Geek Crew, you guys have been on the channel for a while when it comes to peppers and my success with them. I've also done a lot of overwintering with them and that sort of thing. So I have videos on how to overwinter. We're nowhere near that point. No one speak those swear words. I apologize for speaking them. But with that being said, I am doing jalapeños this year, and I am doing the chili peppers. Chili peppers, I'm going in my self-watering containers. Jalapenos, I am going to try to do the whole fabric pot garden type thing this year. We'll see how it works out. Anyways, Geek Crew, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.